Hello. May I help you?
Yes, I hope so. My name is Harry Burke. I got a message from someone in this office saying I still needed to pay a lab fee.
Let me check. Harry Burke. Oh, yes. The computer shows that you haven't paid the lab fee for your biology class. You'll need to do this before you can attend your lab section.
I didn't know there was a lab fee. I don't remember seeing it on my bill.
Did you register after September 15th?
I think so.
The fee probably didn't show up on your bill because you registered late. I'm afraid you'll have to pay it at the cashier's office.
Okay, I'd better take care of it right away. Thanks for letting me know.
I can't believe how much my books cost this semester. I just spent over $100 in the university bookstore for only 4 books, and I still need the book for chemistry. That one costs $55. It's a little more than my budget can handle at the moment.
Science books are always out of sight. But did you know there's another bookstore in the Pioneer District? They carry used copies of most of the textbooks for the university.
I wonder if they'd have my chemistry book. I need the 3rd edition.
I found all of my books there. You can sell any kind of book too, not just textbooks.
That's not a bad idea. Where did you say that was again?
Number Listen to a lecture in a botany class. The professor is talking about plant hormones.
The word hormone is derived from a Greek verb that means to excite. Hormones are found in all multicellular organisms and function to coordinate the parts of the organism. A hormone is a chemical signal. It's produced by one part of the body and is then transported to other parts of the body, where it triggers responses in cells and tissues. The concept of chemical messengers in plants first emerged from a series of classic experiments on how plant stems respond to light. Think about this. A houseplant on a windowsill grows toward light. If you rotate the plant, it will soon reorient its growth until its leaves again face the window. The growth of a plant toward light is called phototropism. In a forest or other natural ecosystem where plants may be crowded, phototropism directs growing seedlings toward the sunlight that powers photosynthesis. Some of the earliest experiments on phototropism were conducted in the late 19th century by Charles Darwin and his son, Francis. The Darwins observed that a grass seedling could bend toward light only if the tip of the shoot was present. If the tip was removed, the shoot would not curve toward light. The seedling would also fail to grow toward light if the tip was covered with an opaque cap. The Darwins proposed the hypothesis that some signal was transmitted downward from the tip into the part of the stem that controlled growth. Later experiments by other scientists studying phototropism led to the discovery of chemical messengers that stimulated growth in the stem. These chemical messengers were hormones.
The German Luftwaffe dropped thousands of bombs on London from 1939 to 1945, killing almost 30,000 people. More than 70,000 buildings were completely demolished, and another 1.7 million were damaged. The extent of the damage to each and every one of these buildings was logged and mapped in near real time by surveyors, architects, engineers, and construction workers. The result is an incredible collection of maps, color-coded by hand, that reveal the amount of the destruction in painstaking detail. Today, the maps remain an invaluable resource for academics, family historians, and even builders trying to avoid touching off unexploded bombs. Now these bomb census maps are available in a beautiful oversized book released earlier this year to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of the Blitz. A 9-month period during which London and other British cities were relentlessly attacked by the German Air Force. Visually, the maps are quite striking. The apparent randomness of the colors stands in contrast to the more orderly pattern of streets and buildings. The damage from World War II transformed London into the architecturally diverse city it is today. The maps showing how widespread the destruction was really brings home the scale of the devastation. The belief that the Titanic was unsinkable was so strong that passengers and crew alike clung to the belief even as she was actually sinking. Not realizing the magnitude of the impending disaster themselves, the officers allowed several boats to be lowered only half full. The officers were afraid the lifeboats would buckle under the weight of the passengers as they had not been informed that the lifeboats had been fully tested prior to departure. As a result, 1,517 passengers met their deaths. Many advocate legalization of cannabis, believing that it will eliminate the illegal trade and associated crime, yield a valuable tax source and reduce policing costs. In 1969, only 16% of voters in the USA supported legalization. That number had risen to 36% by 2005. More recent polling indicates that the number has risen even further. In 2009, between 46% and 56% of U.S. voters would support legalization. A Research Center poll released in 2013 claimed 52% of Americans support legalizing the drug and only 45% oppose legalization. While support has generally tracked upward over time, it has spiked 11 percentage points since 2010. Research in 2014 shows an increase in the percentage of legalization supporters, from 52% to 54%. A 20% sugar tax could discourage shoppers from buying unhealthier breakfast cereals, new research led by Newfoundland University shows. Researchers found demand for sugary cereals fell by 48% if consumers knew a tax was being applied and consumers purchased healthier alternatives. The study, carried out by experts from Newfoundland University, examined the impact of both a 20% and 40% tax on unhealthier cereals and soft drinks containing sugar. It also looked at whether telling people they were being taxed influenced the way they shopped. Lead researcher, Damien Rizzo, professor of economics at Newfoundland University Business School, said, "Our findings suggest a 20% sugar tax would work and lead to large changes in shopping behavior."
Scientists know that climate change is being caused by people, and that people are at the heart of its solution. Many people believe slowing population growth in the world's high-fertility countries could help reduce global emissions. Yet these countries currently have very low emissions, while countries with slower population growth, namely, wealthier countries, have much higher emissions. In fact, solving climate change requires education, innovation and empowerment. Population, economic growth, and patterns of consumption and production all play a role in climate change. But a common mistake is to equate more people with more emissions, while ignoring inequality. Right now, only 2.5 billion people make enough money, more than $10 per day, to consume enough to contribute to emissions. And among this group, a small minority is responsible for an overwhelming share of the damage.
When someone decides to become a teacher, they take on the responsibility to educate our nation's youth. Many people think that within the school system, teachers are ultimately the ones who are accountable for the development and learning progress of students. At one time, Principals and teachers could satisfy the demands of accountability simply by working hard and following accepted professional standards. By contrast, the current accountability movement emphasizes results. It is the teacher's responsibility for students to produce good test results. Evaluation and observation, standardized testing, and the No Child Left Behind policy are three critical ways to hold teachers accountable. A teacher's responsibility is to educate the youth of our nation. According to No Child Left Behind, all teachers must be highly qualified. This alone will help enrich children's education. Standardized testing is also another way of holding teachers accountable. They will want to teach their students to the best of their ability in hopes that their students will perform well on the test. Evaluation and observation is also an important way to hold teachers accountable. If they know that they are being evaluated and observed, they will perform better and therefore students will be better instructed.